alright though. Yeah, we'll turn around right at Scotch Elementary. That's why we go down to Key. Get it. That was shocking. That's why I'm using my phone to use it for this Scouters meeting.
Yeah. Is that why you're using it? Or are you just using it so you don't shake it right for your phone? You don't want to crack.
Right. So we'll just play it by ear. Scouters meeting. Yeah. Glove box. All right, let's go.
Did it.
Let's go before the meeting starts.
Yeah. Over an hour. So we should.
Yeah, we should be good. We're not in a rush or anything.
The Rams play the Raiders in Los Angeles. Baker Mayfield, literally 2 days off a bus from Carolina, comes in, wasn't even supposed to play, and leads 2 drives for touchdowns in the winning moments, including at the very end with 9 seconds left, scoring a touchdown to go up 17-16. And of course, the Rams win the game. And now if you look at the Lions in their draft, because everybody is interested, they're now 4. Houston's 1, they're 110-1, they're not going to lose. They suck. Chicago is 2. And Chicago, John, Chicago has a killer schedule. They play Philly, they play Buffalo, they play Detroit, they play Minnesota. You could be looking at all losses. They must shut down Justin Fields. They're screwed. Actually, they're not screwed. We're screwed. And then number 3 now is Denver, who is just such underachievers, are horrendous, and play the Chiefs and then the Rams in Arizona and Kansas City. They play the Chiefs twice, meaning all the great cute dreams of the Lions getting a top 3 pick from that Rams draft pick, I think it's up.
Yeah, because there's basically, when you talk about why is it important to have those top 3 picks, or one of the top 3 picks, you're not going to have number 1. I think Houston pretty much have that one locked up. But it is quarterback Alabama, D-line Georgia, or edge rusher Alabama. Those are the 3 guys that you're looking at going, if we can just be in the top 3, we know we'll get one of those. And if you're at 4, chances are you're SOL. And it's not the same old lines.
What is it? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I
Yes.
Yeah. Which kind of goes hand in hand with staying with the Rams. So anyway, if you want to hit on it, listen, if your Friday is already ruined, and we're going to get more into it later, because I know how people take the draft picks, and they take it very seriously, because it's how we've been raised as Lions fans, kind of like John's kids have been raised to be very mean to bold people. You can hit on it, 248-539-9797. But let's go to somebody that's very nice. Heather Park with the news. Hey, Heather.
You know what? I think your hair is looking great, Jack. And you know what? You got a haircut when it was long. You had it long for a while during the pandemic, and I think it looks really nice. You get a nice cut, so I think it's looking good.
Heather, it's not, but thank you for trying.
But I really do think it looks better shorter than it did long. So I think it looks good. Here's the news. So several wannabe would-be thieves are actually on the run after smashing through the front window of a Wayne County gun shop. It happened on Thursday morning, and the thieves turned up empty-handed. They never actually got into the store, but they left the whole front of this gun shop completely demolished. The cars had to be, or at least one red car had to be towed away. At the time of the crash, police said that they were searching for at least 2 suspects and possibly more. So good news is they got away with nothing. The bad news is that they left that business completely demolished, and there's going to be a lot of work to repair it. A Detroit man is in custody in connection with a wild scene involving stunt driving and drifting on the city's west side. You may remember we talked about this after it happened. Early Monday morning, drivers were gathered at the intersection of 7 Mile and Greenfield, and they were doing donuts, and they had this ring of fire, and they actually lit a whole circle on fire, and they were doing donuts around that, and they were doing it right in front of at least one police officer. And at the time, nobody was arrested, but police have since been trying to track down these drivers, and they found at least one of them. Police have not identified the man they arrested, but they say he is a 31-year-old man from Detroit. I'm sure they're looking for this other, so watch this.
What kind of car?
Oh, you know what? I don't even remember. It's probably like a Camaro or
What to say?
a Charger. Yeah, I don't have the. When it happened, I had the cars, like the color of the cars, but this article, I don't recall.
But it's gonna be something nice, like in a Cutlass Sierra. You're not doing that kind of stuff. Like, it's gonna be like some kind of nice, expensive car.
Yes, I'm sure it was a very nice car for sure. With their trial on hold indefinitely, and now their son, a convicted killer, James and Jennifer Crumbley, are asking yet again to be released on a lower bond. And this time they're arguing they have new evidence that supports their release. So they just filed a new court filing, or their lawyers did, and they say they have obtained evidence that proves that their clients were never on the run after learning that they were being charged last year. And the Crumbleys say that they never fled, but they left Oxford to stay at a friend's art studio in Detroit, and they said they did that for their own safety, and that they did plan to surrender the following day at their scheduled court hearing. So the filing also says they have new evidence that can explain why they had 4 cell phones, why they went and used cash versus a credit card, and why they stayed in some local hotels and that art studio after the shooting. So, of course, this is not the first time they have requested lower bonds. They have requested this numerous times. They've been jailed for more than a year on $500,000 cash bonds. So, we'll see what happens. This time they're asking for a lower bond. They're also saying they would request a GPS tether and have their clients stay in one place.
Yeah.
You might have heard this. You know, it's not a performer I follow, but I know she has a big following. Celine Dion.
Oh, it
She,
is, yeah.
Yeah, she
No
opened
commercials.
up about. Oh, really?
Yeah, they went to
Oh, yeah.
a concert, I believe. That's like a super thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. I would have guessed. I guess I could see it. Anyway, yeah, that's it. She's actually opening up about some health issues, and she revealed that she's been diagnosed with this rare neurological condition called stiff person syndrome. And it sounds like something completely made up. Like, I've never heard of this before,
Right.
but it's actually very real, and it's very serious. So she made an Instagram post to her fans, and she said that this syndrome only affects about 1 in a million people. So it's very rare, and it's causing these debilitating spasms, which then make it really difficult for her to walk and also use her vocal cords. So she can't, I mean, right there, that's a performance. She can't perform. So she has had to push back her tour dates. She's pushed them back to 2024. So
Is there a cure?
I don't believe so. I think it's some, I mean, there might be some sort of a drug or something that can
Can help manage it.
yes, but I don't think that they can cure it, that she will always have it.
Yeah.
That is.
It's terrible.
Heather, thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Coming up next, we'll lighten the mood a little bit with the picks. I have the stats in front of me. Greg Hargrave is 4 guys. What? My goodness.
He's still within range.
I'm not sure about that. We'll do it next. 97 on the ticket. One of the things I love about betting on the NFL is that I'm always finding new players or game props that I enjoy. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout. Maybe you do the quarterback over a certain amount of pass yards, pair that with the running back under rushing yards. Oh, put it together any way you want. There's no from the 1-800-270-7117.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum 2022 tax deduction and a vacation voucher. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's your last chance to donate for 2022.
Attention, did you or a loved one live at or near Marine Base Camp Lejeune in North Carolina between 1953 and 1987? If so, listen closely for this important legal announcement. From 1953 to 1987, Marines and their family members at Camp Lejeune drank water that was contaminated with hazardous toxins. The toxins found in the water at Camp Lejeune may cause health issues, especially later in life. Types of health issues associated with water at Camp Lejeune are numerous. If you or a loved one lived near Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation without going to court. Even if you were turned down in the past, a new law can allow you to file a claim today. If you or a loved one spent time near Camp Lejeune, call the Negligence Network to find out if you're eligible for financial compensation. There's no fee unless we win your case. Call 1-800-700-4333. That's 1-800-700-4333. 1-800-700-4333.
LTU Visit Day is Saturday from 10 to 2. Discover more about financial aid, campus life, and Lawrence Tech's 100 undergraduate, master's, and doctoral programs in the colleges of Architecture and Design, Arts and Sciences, Business and Information Technology, and Engineering. Register at ltu.edu/visitday.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Granger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Where do holiday happenings take over every aisle? Lowe's, actually. Right now, you'll save big on everything you need for the holiday season. Get up to 50% off select pre-lit Christmas trees and holiday living LED string lights. Plus, save on your gift list with up to 50% off select tools and accessories. The holidays are here, and so are the savings. Only at Lowe's. Offers valid through 12/14. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
This hour of Instant Feedback brought to you by Mike Capurro of National Benefit Plan. For affordable health insurance, log on to nbphealth.com.
97.1 The Ticket, 2022 winner of the National Association of Broadcasters Marconi Radio Award for Sports Station of the Year.
Stoney and Chance and Stoney back on Monday. You know what that music means? It's time for the picks. I have the rankings right in front of me. I'm going to get these out very quickly. Greg's kicking everybody's ass. He's 38-32. Stoney in second place, 2 games back, 36-34. Then there's John Jansen, 34-36, 4 games back. And then Tom, a horrendous year. He was 1-6 last week. He's 32-38. He's 6 games back. I'm 3-2 when I fill in, and Jim Costa 6-4. He's got a gambling podcast. He's good.
Yeah,
That proves he's good.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Here we go. The only college football game this weekend, kind of a bummer because college football kind of over, but it's a classic. The annual Navy-Army game, Navy giving 1.5 points. It's in Philadelphia. Let's start it off with Mr. Greg Hartman.
Well, it's the late Jamie Samuelson would ask, is this game being played in the water or on the land? It's being played on the land, therefore I'll take Army. However, the real winner in this game, America and freedom.
Yes. I don't know how I can go against that. John Jansen, what do you think?
No, and I do think I need to correct you because I think it's, when you say Navy Army, it doesn't sound right. It's the annual Army Navy game.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I mean, it's just when you say it like that, I'm like, wait a second, this
Yeah,
doesn't
it's-
sound
How would
right.
you say Michigan, Ohio State?
Michigan, Ohio State?
What do they say
The game.
in Columbus?
I don't care.
How would you say Michigan State?
Huh?
Pretty
No.
much that way.
What would they say in East Lansing?
I don't
Okay,
care.
it does.
I mean, we can repeat this
Meatloaf.
as much as we want.
What
But
about Stupid
yeah, I'm gonna go
What about
Army Navy.
Hawaii?
Yes.
What do they say in
Um,
Hawaii?
Army
Rotten
is.
eggs.
I mean, both of these teams obviously it's going to be a run fest. Army averages more yards on the ground. They're better at. The problem is Army can't stop a running nose. Their defense is horrific. Although I do believe Army steps up. I'm gonna go with the Black Knights.
No. Okay. I like that. Can't stop a runny nose. What about a bloody nose? Probably not that either.
There's going to be a whole lot of bloody noses in this game.
All right, I'm just going to give my pick very quickly before we get to Stoney and Tom because I'm going to fully admit, maybe this makes me unpatriotic. I don't care about this game. I always forget this game is on.
What?
And I forget to watch the game. So I'm going to go, since they're favored, I'm going to go Navy. I'm going to go with the Seamen.
You? Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, let's go to Tom. I think that's obvious. And Stoney.
This is a legendary game. I'm in Philadelphia right now. My dad was in the Army, so I say, take Army.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's pretty.
That's pretty clear.
Okay, take it, Army. All right.
Yes, that also was very clear.
Let's go to the NFL, shall we?
Watch the Army.
Get into it. I mean, maybe
We
I
will
will
get
take
into
it
it,
in.
yes.
I'll watch college basketball instead. All right, game one of the NFL. This is a big one that nobody will be watching with the exception of people in Texas. Cowboys hosting the Texans. Cowboys are giving 16.5. Greg Hargrave, what do you think?
Call me a sucker for points. I will take 16.5. No matter how good the team is, no matter how bad the team is, I will take 16.5. Give me the Texans.
What about Stoney?
The only reason this game is even on the board is because the point spread is so ridiculous. It's absurd. But I'm going to take the Texans in the points.
John Jantz?
No, the Texans are awful. The Cowboys, hey, this is the state championship. They got Micah Parsons. Dak Prescott wants to make a statement. They got a number of guys that are going to go out there, I think, and play well. And the Texans, how many guys are going to go out there and play well? 0. So give me Dallas. I don't care if I'm giving up 16.5.
Tom the Gov Milliken.
You a cowboy?
Yeah.
You're a cowboy.
Is that Borat? I think that's Borat, and I think he chose the Cowboys. I, too, will agree with Tom and Borat. I'm going to go the Cowboys to cover. I think they blow out the Texans. Game number 2 in the NFL. Dolphins giving 3.5 after losing last week. They're at the Chargers. The game's actually in Indianapolis, though. John Jansen, what do you think?
Well, this one is a tough one because when I look at it, the Dolphins obviously able to throw the ball around. I mean, Tyreek Hill is going to be tough for anybody to defend. I think Tua Tagovailoa is playing extremely well. However, I think the Chargers defense is looking a little bit better. They're starting to play a little bit more as a cohesive unit. I just don't think they can get it done, even though this is supposed to be a home game for the Chargers. Now that it's at a neutral site,
It's not. I'm sorry. It's a holdover from when Michigan played Purdue last week, and they were playing in Indianapolis.
I was about to say,
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
did I miss something?
I'm
Why
missing
the
something
game's
too.
in
I'm looking
LA
at it
and
going,
Indy?
What's going on here?
I read
Like,
it,
is
but
there an earthquake, a weather situation?
can we do this all over? Can we stop? This isn't real time or anything. I saw Indianapolis. I'm like, should I know that this game is in Indianapolis?
I'm like, I'm not doing my job. I don't even know where this game is
I
being
know I
played.
did. Gotta feel this would be a big story. Like, what is there, like an earthquake in LA?
Yeah.
All right, so who are you taking? I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's still in LA. Even though it's in LA, I think the Dolphins, they're could be the best team in the AFC right now. Give me the Dolphins.
Greg Hargrave, the leader of all these guys. Go ahead.
Well, first I thought the game was being played in Indianapolis. I was going to take the Dolphins. Now I know it's a home game for the Chargers. I'll take the Chargers.
Stoney, what do you think?
Home dog. Roof, 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 roof. Give me those Chargers.
Stoney knew it was a home game all along.
Was he saying roof or The roof? Or-
Yeah.
Well, they play under a roof, so maybe it's
the
that.
roof is on fire.
Tom Milliken.
Wonderful.
All right,
Oh, wow.
every time I watch the Chargers, every time I believe in the Chargers, every time I think about the Chargers, all they do is let me down.
Yeah.
The Chargers are the most overrated team in the NFL. I'm going to take the Dolphins. They're going to get back on track. I go the Dolphins to cover. Game number 3 in the NFL. Game number 4, totally on the picks. Bucks at Niners. Niners minus 3.5. Let's go to Greg Hargrave and Jimmy G's, of course, dad. Metaphor.
Guys, in this game, is this game Brock Purdy versus Tom Brady? No, it's the Bucks and the 49ers, but Vegas wants you to just focus on that quarterback matchup so that you take Tom and the Bucks. I will not. I say nay. Even the Niners.
Like a horse, he says nay. Let's go to John Jansen. What do you think?
You know what? It is the Bucks. It is the Niners, and I think we have zeroed in on the fact that this one will be in San Francisco.
I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's at Levi
I think
Stadium.
it's actually Santa Clara.
Yes, but Brock Purdy, hey, when you come in relief, a lot of guys can look good, they can play well, but once a team, especially a team led by their defense, and that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they've struggled offensively. Tom has put up some decent numbers, but the number that matters the most is points. They haven't been able to do a whole lot of that, except they will this week, because Brock Purdy is going to give them opportunity after opportunity. They're going to game plan for Brock Purdy. It's going to be a disaster. I feel bad for him. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Do you have any idea what they're calling Brock Purdy in San Francisco?
Well, I know
Did you see
what
this
his
story?
nickname is.
Yeah,
in the
they're
locker room.
calling him Big, and then you fill in the blank Brock. That's what they're calling him.
Oh, but it rhymes with Brock.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't say the word, though. But they're calling him Big Blank Brock. I go with Big Blank Brock and the Niners. That defense is so good. Not to mention the Bucs are a joke. They're a farce. Tom Brady's good, but he's old. So I go the Niners to cover. Stoney, what do you think?
Oh, the classic matchup. Purdy versus Brady. I'm going to go with the Niners.
I like what you did there.
Oh,
You know, Purdy versus Brady. All right, Tom, what do you think?
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to Bucks. Okay. Can we hear that again? Would you mind?
Oh. That's him making fun of me.
All right. Last game on the docket. The biggest game in Detroit sports history. Lions hosting the Vikings. Lions are favored at Ford Field by 2.5. If they can win this game, the playoff push is essentially, officially, without a doubt, on. John, what do you think?
I do think that the Minnesota Vikings are the luckiest 10-2 team.
They
But
seem pretty
sometimes luck, it just continues to go your way. And I am torn between this because I do believe that the Lions are playing some of the best football in the NFL right now. They're playing it with young players. Young players have ups and downs. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, my God.
I really hate it.
Oh, my God. Greg Hargrave. What do you think?
This spread is kind of wacky that a 5-7 team is favored against a 10-2 team.
Yeah.
So you think you do a little reverse psychology that you take the Lions because the line is so wacky. However, I'm going double reverse psychology. They want you to think that they know it's going to be the Vikings.
Okay. I'm confused. Stoney, Vikings. That's Stoney. What do you think?
everybody thinks the Lions are going to win this game. Everybody. Vegas, the line switched, as you know, to 2.5 points, the Lions being favored. The Vikings, they're looking forward to put on a T-shirt and a hat. I'll take the Vikings points.
And that will be their motivation throughout the game. For the hats!
Yes.
Yeah. For the T-shirts!
Only it's a nice one.
For the division.
Just slap me that time.
Wow. I didn't see that. He's been on the Vikings all year
Detroit has already circled this as not only a big game, but a win. All of Detroit is salivating, licking their chops. This is a playoff push. We've won 4 out of 5. We already kicked their ass one time before, but our coach made a dumb mistake that he's going to take to his grave, apparently. Everybody is picking the Lions. You're all idiots, because we know what's going to happen. I thought the Vikings would just beat the crap out of them, unfortunately.
That sounds like 4 veins sticking out of your forehead.
I hate this. I don't want to do it, but we got to do it. The Vikings. All right, those are the picks. I'm not even going to take it.
That's closed. Also in Wayne County, South Michigan Avenue, Wayne Road, heavily closed 98 today and north 975 with an Ann Arbor Road off ramps closed between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. State full traffic. Detroit Red Wings play the Dallas Stars. Pre-game tomorrow afternoon at 1:45 on 97.1 The Ticket. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, here's Stoney and Jackson.
Alrighty. We're still kicking ourselves that we realized the Dolphins-Chargers game was indeed not in Indianapolis. I mean, they just played in SoFi yesterday. What the hell happened at the stadium?
Raiders fans ruined it after the loss.
They rioted. All those people, all those crazy people, and despite that,
Yeah, the horns coming out of their heads. I mean, and here's the other thing. It was like, it was mostly Raiders fans in that stadium.
Oh, yeah.
And the Rams came back and just, I mean, without Stafford, it was dagger time.
Greg's favorite. It was.
It's yours too.
Two drives at the end of the game to just screw you. And listen, I think we as Lions fans are ready to get over it. We'll be more into, do you really care about the draft as much as this season? Later in the program, but I couldn't help but to see what we did in the next. It picked the Vikings. Stoney picked the Vikings. And I picked the Vikings. And Greg, what did you pick? I forget.
I think the Vikings.
The Vikings.
Reverse psychology.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. I forgot. You kind of went out with the double for it. Okay. So, John, I got to get this off my chest. All week I've been listening to this radio station, doing some shows as well. I've never seen this town more confident. I'm confident too. Like, by all accounts, the Lions should beat the Vikings. Vikings had the worst pass defense in all of football. Lions offense is pretty good. Vikings can't stop the run. Lions can run the football. Lions led by 10 points twice in the fourth quarter in Minnesota the third week of the season. And if it wasn't for a call by Dan Campbell that he says burns him till his grave, Lions probably win that football game. Everybody is picking the Lions, locally and nationally. And this is where I get excited, but it's also where I get scared. Because, John, over the course of my life, and I'm a 47-year-old man, I'm old, close to death. Over the course of my life, losing my hair, thank you for that. Over the course of my life, every time the Lions are supposed to win, every time you get excited, every time you think, something here, what do? They stab you in the back. Like, you know what it's like? It's like SOL standing there in the corner, and it's like every horror movie you ever see, where the teenagers decide to go off and have sex. They're not supposed to, but they go off and have sex, and next thing you know, they get killed. Exactly. Jason Voorhees, like, killed them. Or it's like when the woman or man goes into the graveyard in the middle of the night. Why would you do that? I don't know. You're going to look for somebody. Next thing you know, you got killed by the axe murderer. I feel like Lions fans, unfortunately, are going into battle on Sunday, and they're going in with great spirits, and next thing you know, they're going to get killed. I'm so afraid to pick the Lions just because we've done this our whole lives.
Well, and how about the investment that some of these fans are making? Because Stoney looked on like StubHub and some of those other ticket brokers in the league, and I mean, tickets are going twice face value. 50-yard line seats are going for even more than that. If you want to go to the game, I mean, it's people are not only emotionally investing, they're financially investing into Sunday. That's a game. And I'm the same way. Like, so when we're doing the picks, yeah, we start off with Army Navy. We go down to Texas and the Cowboys, and I'm looking at that last pick going, Vikings, Lions. I originally thought Lions. And then about the Texas Cowboys, I thought, okay, Vikings. And then we did, we tried to figure out where the Chargers game was going to be played, and I switched it, back to the Lions.
We're in Indianapolis. They lost that game.
I know. And so the entire time I'm going back and forth because a lot of my football sense, almost all of my winners of 4 of 5. Should have been 5 of 5. And you talk about how good they're playing. And Jared Goff is fake. So I'm just concerned about the Lions. And, you know, Jared Goff is talking about him playing the best football of my career. We've got, you know, defensive rookies of the week. We've got special team players of the week. We've got all of these different things going well. And I'm thinking to myself, this is at home. It's an opportunity for another. And the Lions have been very good in division. I got to take the Lions. And then there's this little voice in the back of my head, and whether it's just, hey, don't buy it, protect yourself just a little bit. Or if it's, you know, the experience that we've had growing up in the city with the Lions, like, this is actually that next step. Now, the whole playoff thing, I think, if some people believe it, they win this one, they're in the hunt. I believe it. I don't. I think if they win this one, it's great. It's great for the season. I think they could win 9 games. They're not getting into the playoffs. They can win 10 games and still not get a playoffs. I'm not even talking about the excitement surrounding a playoff conversation. I'm just talking about the Lions being a team that is, at this time of the year, playing as, let's say, top half of the league team, top 15 team. They're playing like a playoff team. And so all of the football senses, the spidey senses are saying the Lions, not only are they going to win this, they're going to cover. They could cover by more than just the 3 points. And they would be in a playoff push, even though you're not ready to go there. They really would be there. There's a lot that has to happen. If they win out, they get the 10 wins. And you got to believe down the course, the Seahawks, the Giants, and the Commanders, tough schedules moving forward, and the Lions would have a great chance to make that 7th seed. And by the way, no, I got to bring this up very quickly. If they did, let's just say, if they did, let me just add to the insanity. If the Lions made the 7th seed, there's a great chance they can play the Vikings in the first round. And now you're looking at a possible playoff win for the second time since 1957.
You're almost
John,
there.
there's every reason to believe, there's every reason to get excited. And that's why you, as you said, you protect yourself. That's why you need to be very careful, because if you're not, they're going to break your freaking heart again. So, anyway, let's not forget, okay, that everything that these, I'll tell you what, when we come back, I just want to try and bring you back to reality. I'm not trying to throw cold water on you. I'm not trying to be the downer that heading into the weekend, but I just want to give you some facts to help you temper the expectations.
I mainly picked the Vikings just because every time I've ever felt like this in my life, every time I've ever thought I've been wrong in my life, it's always come back to backfire. It's like that girl in the bar. This time she's going to say this good. And you walk up and you say to yourself, my hair looks good back when I had hair. I look good. I've been working out. She's going to say yes. And then she just kicks you.
She wants to know your friend's name.
Right. She's like, hey, who's the guy you're hanging out with? Like, why does that do this to you? I wonder if people are willing to put themselves out there again. If you're willing to date again, people, 248-539-9797, the ticket text, the exact same number. Are you willing? That's a scary proposition. Are you willing to be vulnerable? 97 on the ticket.
WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Sports headlines. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
We're brought to you by Colorado University of Michigan. Oluwatimi winning both the Outlet Trophy as the best interior lineman in the land and the Remington Award as the best center in college football. He becomes the first Wolverine to ever win the Outlet Trophy and the third to take the Remington Award. The 6'3", 307-pound transfer from Virginia was also finalist for Remington last year. He, along with running back Blake Cormick, kicker Jake Mooney, make the Walt
their Camp All-American team for Michigan State. Hunter Bryce Berger making that team as well. Rebels falling at Florida 5-1. Alex Nedeljkovic facing 41 shots for Detroit. Michigan basketball now 6-3, easily winning on the road to Minnesota 90-75. Thursday night football, Baker Mayfield off the bench for the Rams. He leads them to win over the Raiders 17-16, casting a 98-yard drive with 10 seconds left with a 23-yard touchdown pass. Lions and Vikings Sunday at Ford Field. At the ticket update desk, I've got Lesson from more 97.1 the ticket or Odyssey.com. Live from the Jamie Samuelson Studio, Stoney and Jansen on 97.1 the ticket.
All right, Stoney and Jansen, Stoney back on Monday. We're talking about the Lions and the Vikings. Massive, huge, monstrous game on Sunday. And we're asking you if you're willing. I said Dean again, but John, you have a better question. Go ahead.
Well, if you're willing to take again, if you're looking at your phone, if you're looking at this game, and you're trying to pick a winner, you're gonna swipe right and keep the Lions, or you're gonna swipe left and just discard them.
By the way, just so you know, John's not a Tinder user. He asked me during the update, during the Jeff Lesson update, he's like, is it swipe right or swipe left? I had to look it up.
Yeah.
It's swipe right, so swipe right and keep the Lions.
Are you willing to swipe right on the Lions? And I think this is the perfect week to ask that question, because when you look at what the Lions did when they started the season off, right, 1-6, they beat the Commanders on basically a really good first half. But the Commanders at that time they're not playing the same football as they're playing right now. They're kind of very similar to the Lions. But the Eagles, all right, and the Vikings, we know what they've done throughout the course of this year. You've got one of the best records in the NFL, along with the Vikings, who, if they win this weekend, they win the division. You've got the Seahawks, who are playing out of their minds with Geno Smith, not even knowing, that he's going to be a starting quarterback this year. All of a sudden, they make a trade, and boom, you're in.
The Lions could make them punt.
Right, Patriots, not a great team, but they can't find a way to score against the Patriots, the Cowboys, the Dolphins, right? But all of these teams are pretty good teams, all right? Save a couple that, we can analyze those a little bit, but then they go on this winning streak, right? 4 of the last 5. The Packers, the Bears, the Jaguars. Does anybody believe those are good teams? Yeah. No. Okay. So those are 3 of the wins. The Giants, fake, but it's on the road. At the time,
And they dominated.
they were a 7-2 team. Here's where I'm going with this. If you're trying to make that decision, are you going to swipe right and keep the Lions? They've been winners of 4 or 5, and if they're going to make the playoffs, they've got to go 5-5. That means a 1-6 team ends up in the last 10 games winning 9 of 10. Are you willing to believe
Right.
that
I
it's
didn't think about it
possible?
like that.
I mean, how do you? As much as I am excited about this team, I believe this could go through what I believe. I believe Dan Campbell will be a good coach.
I
agree.
They are going to eventually win and build a sustainable winner. Brad Holmes, I think, has done a tremendous job of building this team through the draft. I think Jared Goff is here for a little while. He's a guy that you
We can turn right
win with.
anyway.
Yeah, you can win with him. The
So
young
we're good.
talent, all of this stuff excites me.
How are you?
Good,
And I
so
think
we're
they're
getting
going
close.
in the right direction. But am I going to sit here and
8:44.
think the Lions are going to be winners of 9 of 10 after starting out 1-6? So I just can't buy in.
So it's not even about winning 9 of 10. It's about winning this week and then getting a chance to get excited for next week.
Trust me, I'm the
Which
one
is
that
at
always
Carolina.
says you take it one game at a time.
Right, that's right.
One game at a time, and then you add them up at the end. So it doesn't matter how they all fall.
So John, you asked the question. It's a great question. We want to hear from you. 248-539-9797. Are you willing to swipe right on the Detroit Lions? They come up in your dating app, your Tinder, and you're like, oh, good. And I haven't done the internet dating in quite some time.
Is there a background check?
That's the thing.
Because the background doesn't check out for the line.
So anybody that meets their person that they're going to go on a date, what's the first thing you do? Hey, what do you do? Let's say John's in a bar, you're single, okay? In this scenario, you're single, you're walking around, you look great, you've lost all this weight, and a woman comes up to you and says, oh yeah, you won the national title in Michigan. Can we go out to supper, right?
Is that how you would lead, Heather?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that.
Heather, you walk up to John. I'll ask Heather this. Heather, back in your single days, you go out with a guy. What's the first thing you
go over their resume?
What's the first thing you do before the date?
Get a drink?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah, you
No,
Google.
you don't. I mean, if I find them online, I've never done online dating. So I guess, yes, I would Google them if I had their name, but I've only met people, like, out and about. So, yes, you...
Right, but let's say you meet a guy at a bar and the guy, like, charms you, and next thing you know, you guys have a date for a Friday night. You might hop on a Google. I have.
Never.
Just to make sure they're not a serial killer. The problem is, if you're swiping right on the Lions, and then you decide to swipe right and then Google the Detroit Lions,
Yes.
and you see, oh my God, one playoff win since 1957. There's no way you would go out with this person. That's what I'm saying. If you're a Lions fan and you've been through all of this dismay with this freaking team,
Yeah.
you gotta be a lunatic to put yourself out there once again and believe they're gonna win on Sunday. But I believe you. I do. I really do believe that they can win on Sunday, that they should win on Sunday. And I'm just curious where people are. Like, everybody always says you should not allow the past to
Influence
form
your
your
decision.
opinion on this current team, right? But when you have a past like the Detroit Lions do, it's impossible not to take into account that.
Here's the problem I'm having too, is like, okay, we're going through all this and I'm making all of these points as to why this year I believe winning 9 of 10 to finish the season is not possible. Yet I really want to go back and change my pick. I mean, this is seriously, like, this is where you are with this team, because you want to buy, like, fandom, and especially Lions fans, right? At the drop of a hat, we're ready to go, right? We're ready to say it it doesn't matter. I mean, the Super Bowl is coming up, and that is the draft for the Lions. And you're looking at it going, we've got 5 picks. What has Brad Holmes done this year alone? It's been Aiden Hutchinson, Jameson Williams, Josh Pascal, Kirby Joseph, James Mitchell, Malcolm Rodriguez. Oh my goodness, James Houston. We're okay. It gets you excited, and then you're starting to think, okay, well, I'm going to start swiping. I'm going to swipe right. I'm going to keep the Lions. And then the past hits you. The Google search, and you're like,
yes. Like, wait a second.
I've gone through this.
She was arrested because she's a crazy ex-girlfriend. Wait a second. She used to date somebody, and next thing you know, she's got the restraining order against her? Oh, no, I'm not going out on a date with her. I'm not picking the Lions.
But she's hot.
Right? Wait a second. Their head coach didn't know that Aaron Rodgers was going to throw a Hail Mary? Wait a second. They didn't know the rules in Seattle? They didn't know what a catch was? They were the victim of a 10-second rule. I'm not going out with them. You got to be a lunatic to pick the Lions, to put your heart out there again just to get it trampled on. But yeah, I'm willing to do it. 485-39-797. The ticket text the exact same number. Are you swiping right? The Lions come up, they look good enough. Even though that emblem's weird. You never knew what they like. But the Lions emblem, logo, for years. The logo.
How do we get on that?
I'm just saying, if you're swiping right and the Lions logo comes up, you never really know what you're looking at.
Or if it's looking at you.
Right, like, I never quite knew where the mouth was and where the eye was. And I mixed up the 2 legs. Look right here.
I'm looking at the logo.
No, here, look. I mean, I don't want to get off track here, but...
No, we're there.
Yeah, I know, I can't pull it up now, but look at the logo, the 2 legs that are like this. It looks like a mouth. For the longest time, I thought it was the mouth.
No,
Yeah, no, obviously I know.
no,
No,
nobody thinks that's the mouth.
All right, 248.
Yeah, a lion with only hind legs.
Well, it kind of plays like our lions, don't they? You ever go to the Detroit Zoo and see the lion sleeping and say, "That's a Detroit lion"? Yeah, lions sleep like 18 hours a day. When you wake up, it's all being job. That's right. You're like the
All Queens got their butts kicked, so I'm glad that they didn't go to overtime. 5-1.
All right,
So I'm surprised that they didn't go to overtime. That would have
And I want
sucked.
to tell you about all of the personal experiences I've had with First Merchants Bank, and that is my checking and savings account, a home mortgage, a home equity line of credit. And every time I walk in one of the banks, it is by name, and the people that are there are so kind and friendly. And you probably know that back in August, Level One Bank became First Merchants Bank. But did you know that just like Level One Bank First Merchants Bank is rooted firmly in the Midwest? And that's why I love these Midwestern banks, because they do treat you as a person, as a customer experience award-winning community bank. First Merchants Bank provides impressively attentive service that you simply can't find at other banks. And as I mentioned, since I became a customer, they've treated me as an individual, giving me their undivided attention,
We made it.
helping me get things done. I've enjoyed working with them, and I simply
Knew
couldn't be
we'd get
happier.
here
And
before
based on
the
how they
meeting
treated me,
started.
I am 100% confident that First Merchants Bank genuinely cares for all their customers, and they're going to continue to go above and beyond to help their customers and their communities prosper. Visit your local First Merchants Banking Center for your next financial need and see for yourself. I can guarantee you're going to be glad that you did. First Merchants Bank is a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Unparalleled insight and opinions from all of the weekend NFL action. Kick off with Boomer and Valenti, Sunday mornings at 9 on 97.1 The Ticket.
Dr. Trudy Fleer here with the 5G Home Recovery Podcast. Today's episode is inspired by those T-Mobile home internet speeds that are much slower than Xfinity's lickety-split speeds. Speeds that slow to a crawl can leave us feeling like we have to move faster